separated your deep ball from everybody else?
My deep ball, it has a little secret sauce to it, man.
Never get too high, never get too low, but just keep moving.
The whole story is Carlos never beat me in any kind of sports in high school.
So we talked about Jessie Bates, and you talked about the class of safeties that he's in. Obviously, in the division, there's another young safety that's also all-pro as well, and Mika Fitzpatrick. If you had to go between the two, which one are you picking and why?
I would take Bates. The only reason I would think about Fitzpatrick, but this hasn't really been used, is that Fitzpatrick has nickel versatility. Like at Alabama, he played in the slot. You saw that a little bit in Miami. You have not seen that in Pittsburgh because of Mike Hilton, who now plays for the Bengals. He was mostly a deep guy. But yeah, Bates hasn't made the mistakes that Minka's made, right? And I think a lot of safety is obviously making the big plays. You guys are probably old enough. Like if you're a defensive back, like Deltha O'Neal is like a really fun character, but you can't win with Deltha O'Neal very often, right? Like the years he has 10 picks, he gives up 10 touchdowns, and like and he was a corner, and I can tolerate that a little bit more out of corners because it's tough. It's the hardest position in football. But at safety, I can't tolerate big plays being allowed. Like it's just not. And Bates and Simmons are two of those guys that just don't allow big plays. And that's something that it's worth its weight in gold as a safety position. If you can tack onto that, getting interceptions and stuff like that, then that's pretty damn good. And that's where, I put Adrian Amos in that spot. I put Simmons in that spot. I put Bates in that spot.
We can't hear you, though.
I'm sorry. Mute button. Hey, one thing that you were talking about too, and I just thought it'd be fun too. I don't know if PFF had the good info on it like they do now. It's just like someone that we consider like probably the creme de la creme of safeties is Ed Reed, right? Did you have anything that I could say to my Ravens friends, like on just comparing like Ed Reed to that? And I know it's really hard to even compare that because the defense that he was on is a lot better than the defense that Jessie Bates is on. But did you have anything that statistically I could say, hey, look, this is how they compare?
Let me look here. Is Ed Reed a junior? I'm trying to find Ed Reed in my old data.
Yeah. It could be like, I thought Ed Reed would be a really good one. But, like, because I tell people, like, for someone that doesn't watch the Bengals, right, you're telling them, like, Jessie Bates is one of the best safeties, in football. The average fan just doesn't understand that. And, and I just thought that was, like, a good person to kind of, like, say, this is someone I can compare.
That's a top mark, though, because Ed Reed.
I just looked at Ed Reed's Edward Reed. Jeez. So I'm trying to this is why you shouldn't code in public. So Ed Reed. So if you look at, we only have data back to 2016, and then Jessie Bates. Jessie Bates is a second, I believe. Yeah, Jessie Bates.
Third.
Okay, there we go. Perfect. So Ed Reed in 2009 got a full win above replacement. There's actually, I believe, there's a great statistic on Ed Reed. 2010, Ed Reed led the NFL in interceptions despite playing in only 10 games.
Wow.
And he's the only player in NFL history to lead the NFL in one of the major counting statistics despite missing 6 or more games in a season. So, Ed Reed, you're talking about, 7.
Well, sustainability, we haven't even got that with Jessie Bates, so I know.
But Bates, Bates is in that 1-win category too. That's the thing. The hard part is Reed is such a different player than Bates because Bates is doing. I look at Ed Reed's I look at Ed Reed's he had 6 career sacks. He was a free safety, but he was also a blitzer.
Right.
And Bates is more of a really solid free safety. But look, we're really early in his career, right? He started in 2018 and so we're still relatively early on. But as far as value is concerned, he is let's say a 10% within that situation. He's a very good player. Ed Reed to me is the best safety of all time. So like I don't know if I can consider like in that category. But you got me thinking about it.
But like just putting it in, and I love that metric that you're using where you're just saying like that's what I focus a lot too on is like impact players and how much does like a lot of people put a lot of stock in players or whatever, and a lot of times I'm like, yeah, that guy's pretty good, but he doesn't change your record at the end of the year. Yeah. So I love the fact that when you go into you say like, yeah, Jessie Bates gets you one more win. Just like I always talk about like Joe Burrow, if I'm coaching the team, gets the Bengals 6 wins.